Have you ever caught yourself answering the question, how are you, with just one word? Busy? It's almost a reflex, isn't it? It's become our go-to way of saying, I'm in demand, I'm important. But here's the thing. What if that badge of honor is actually a trap? Today, we're going to tear down this whole cultural obsession with being busy and ask a really important question. Is it actually helping us or just holding us back?
Remember this? This line from that big Cadillac ad pretty much sums up the entire modern work ethic in one sentence. It paints this picture that true success comes from a relentless, non-stop grind. The message is loud and clear. If you want to win, you have to be on all the time.
And that's the million-dollar question, right? We've all kind of bought into this idea that if you're busy, you must be productive. And if you're productive, you must be successful. But is that really true? Or are we all just frantically spinning our wheels, confusing motion with actual progress?
All right, so let's get into it. How on earth did being busy become the new cool? It's actually a pretty new phenomenon, and the psychology behind it is absolutely fascinating. It's wild how much things have flipped in just over a century. Way back in the late 1800s, the biggest flex you could make was not working. A sociologist named Thorstein Veblen literally called them the leisure class. Flash forward to today, it's the complete opposite. Now, being overworked is the ultimate status symbol. It sends a signal to everyone that you are so valuable, so in demand that your time is an incredibly scarce resource.
So how does our brain connect those dots so quickly? Well, researchers at Columbia Business School broke it down. It's basically a 4-step mental shortcut. First, we see someone who's constantly working, who has no free time. Immediately, we assume, wow, they must be really good at what they do. Then, we figure, well, they must be in high demand. And just like that, bam, we assign them high status. It's a powerful, almost subconscious social signal.
Okay, so being busy might win you some social points, but does it actually help you produce better work? Well, this is where the whole busy equals successful idea really starts to crumble.
And that brings us to this critical concept of deep work, coined by researcher Cal Newport. This is the stuff that really matters. We're talking about that focused, uninterrupted time you spend wrestling with a complex problem. This is what creates genuine, lasting value. Things like writing a brilliant piece of code, developing a game-changing strategy, or creating a work of art.
And on the other side, you have shallow work. Now, this is what feels like being busy. It's answering endless emails, hopping between meetings, managing logistics. Look, it keeps the lights on, for sure, but it doesn't create anything new. It's like spending all day handling the paperwork for a skyscraper instead of actually, building the skyscraper. The author Neil Stephenson just hits the nail on the head with us. He's pointing out the trade-off we make every single day. Every hour you spend on those little, distracting, shallow tasks is an hour you're not investing in your masterpiece. You're trading legacy for a clean inbox.
So why is being constantly busy so destructive to deep work? It boils down to a brain killer called attention residue. Think about it. Every time you switch from your big project to just quickly check an email or a Slack message, a little piece of your focus stays behind, stuck on that last task. That residue fragments your attention and makes it basically impossible to perform at your peak on what truly matters. So what's the solution? Well, it looks something like this: time blocking. Instead of letting your day get hijacked by random requests and notifications, you seize control. You literally schedule appointments with yourself, big, sacred blocks of time for deep work. You treat your focus like it's the most valuable asset you have, because it is. This is how you escape the shallows and get back to doing meaningful work.
And look, this isn't just a personal productivity problem. When an entire organization gets obsessed with the hustle and grind mentality, things can go south really, really fast.
There's this classic psychological principle called the Yerkes-Dodson law, and it explains everything. A little bit of stress and pressure, that's good. It focuses you, gets you in the zone, and boosts performance. But there's a tipping point. Once you cross into overwork and high stress, your performance doesn't just level off. It absolutely craters. It falls off a cliff. A burned-out team isn't an innovative team. It's a team just trying to survive.
And this is the kind of environment that breeds performative work. This is when the appearance of being busy becomes more important than actually being effective. It's about being seen online late at night. It's about firing off that email at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. You start rewarding presence over performance, and that's a recipe for disaster.
And the cost of this burnout culture isn't just theoretical. It's a massive financial blow. It can cost anywhere from 1.5 to 2 times an employee's annual salary to replace them. Think about that. All that extra hustle you thought you were squeezing out of your team, It gets completely wiped out, and then some, by the astronomical cost of turnover.
Okay, so we've established that being busy can wreck your productivity and your company's health. But what about your own wallet? Well, here's the paradox. The very mindset that makes you feel productive might be the exact thing keeping you from building real, lasting wealth. At the end of the day, there are really only two ways to make money. The first is active income. This is the classic trade. You give your time, you get a paycheck. You work, you get paid. You stop working, the money stops. This is the busy person's game. But then there's passive income. This is where your assets, your investments, your business systems, your real estate start working for you. The wealthy don't just think, how can I work more hours? They ask, how can my money make more money?
And this is where time becomes your superpower, all thanks to the magic of compound interest. Just look at this. If you start investing just $200 a month at age 20, assuming a pretty standard market return, you could have $1 million by the time you retire. Your single greatest asset isn't your salary, it's your time.
But what happens if you wait? Let's say you wait until you're 40. Even if you invest more than double the amount, $500 a month, you end up with so much less. The cost of being too busy to invest for 20 years is literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in future wealth. It's a massive, massive difference. So how do we escape this trap? How do we go from being busy to being wealthy? It's all about making a fundamental shift from being reactive to being intensely strategic with your time, your focus, and your money. Researchers who study self-made millionaires find that they all make these 5 critical shifts. They stop spending to look rich and start investing to become free. They stop relying on one paycheck and start building multiple streams of income. They stop just reacting to their day and start designing it with intention. It's a complete mindset overhaul, from consumer to owner. I love this quote from Tim Ferriss because it's so counterintuitive but so true. You simply cannot do everything. If you spend all your energy putting out every little fire, you will never have the bandwidth for the massive, life-changing opportunities. You have to get comfortable letting some small things slide so you can make room for the great things. So, we want to leave you with a different question to ask yourself at the end of the day. Instead of asking, was I busy today? Try asking this. What did I do today to make my future self richer, freer, and more in control of my own life? Because answering that question day in and day out is how you truly build a life of purpose and wealth, not just a life of busyness.